So it's 20 years since Newcastle last played at home in the Champions League. And my question is, can Newcastle make history in this year's Champions League? I think they've got the attributes, and I know they're in the group of death, it's against them, but who knows, this season Newcastle could do something special in this competition, so let's get into it. I know it could be seen as the contrarian choice to pick Newcastle because they're in the group of death, they haven't been in it for 20 years, and people are expecting them to probably finish bottom or third in their group, which could definitely happen. I'm not saying they're going to win the group or they're going to come second, definitely. However, I just think they have some attributes that make a Champions League winning team for a bit of a lesser quality team. Because, one, they have got quality in the team. They've got Isaac and Callum Wilson up front, who are as good as most strikers. Anthony Gordon's getting into a bit of form at the moment. Tonali is a Champions League proven player. Joelinton's playing well, and obviously you've got Sven Botman, who I believe has played in the Champions League before, and obviously Kieran Trippier, who is an experienced right back as any in the world. I mean, he's probably in the top 3-5 right backs in the world at the moment, if not the best. I mean, who knows? So I think, as well as the quality that they have, that goes under the radar in the team, I think some attributes like their home ground and just their atmosphere could really push them on, because it's like I say, it's the first game in 20 years at home, and if you're a team like PSG, Milan or Dortmund go into that away fixture, then it will be essentially playing against 12 men, because some grounds like obviously Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, who are constantly in the Champions League, yes, the home atmosphere is fantastic, but it's season after season for a lot of them. However, Newcastle, they haven't been in it for so long that it's going to be absolutely buzzing in Newcastle tomorrow night. And I think this could really help them. Because tomorrow night, when Kylian Mbappe and Dembele are on the wings, they are not going to get a second's rest against that crowd. They are going to be going throughout the entire game. Anytime Sean Longstaff, I think it is, or Joelinton or Tonali win a loose ball, or Isaac goes on a run, the crowd are going to get behind them so much, and it's going to create such an atmosphere that you've seen at, Borussia Dortmund Stadium or at Anfield in the past. It helps, you can't underestimate the power of a good crowd. And also, what I think could really help Newcastle potentially progress through this group is the defence, because you saw them at the San Siro. Yes, I don't think they played fantastically. Yes, I thought Milan probably should have won that game. You had the Rafael chance when he should have just buried it instead of back-heeling it or whatever he did. But if they can keep a solid defensive away record and they do what they do at home, then I think the world is really their oyster in the Champions League, because if they go to Paris in, I think it's probably a couple of months' time or so, and they come away with a 0-0 or even a 1-0 loss, or whatever, if they could win, I don't know, I really think then something special could happen, because when you go into the two legs throughout the Champions League in the knockout stages, you just need that away draw, or that away, if you can nick a win or so. And then if you're taking it home to one of the best stadiums and one of the best atmospheres in Europe in this competition, then it is going to be incredible. And I think the experience in the squad is a bit underestimated, because we think as Newcastle as these, the lads might be a bit too bright for them. They haven't played in this competition before. I think at least half the team has played European football. Even players like Harvey Barnes has played in the Europa League for Leicester. And if you look at the defence, Botman, Kieran Trippier is one of the most experienced players about, and his leadership, and just, I think he has the ability to calm the players down and just make, show the moment isn't too bright for them. I think the biggest if is if Eddie Howe can kind of keep his composure, because we know they're so focused on intensity and defending and just hard work throughout the competition. But you don't want the Brides to get too light for Eddie Howe, because that could lead to mismanagement, poor tactics throughout the game, or not judging getting correctly. And I think that's going to be the biggest issue, because I think the players probably can't handle it. Obviously, you've got players like Dan Burn, Anthony Gordon, who have never even touched this competition, and it will be a big experience for them. But I think the team can handle that. I think it's going to be the management that really need to keep the team grounded and keep their composure, really. But I think as a whole, I think the English clubs have a real chance again to do something in this Champions League. I think Arsenal playing Lens tonight, and Arsenal are going to steamroll that group, in my opinion, even with a bit of a depleted squad at the moment. And if they can get a decent knockout round of 16 game, Arsenal could really do something in this Champions League. So I think it's going to be a really interesting one for the English teams this year. But I kind of want Newcastle to do well because it's always good seeing a team. It was fun seeing Leicester like 5-6 years ago. I think they lost to Sevilla at the King Power Stadium. But it's always fun to see a team that hasn't been there for a while or ever progress. And me personally, I'll be rooting for Newcastle this Champions League run. And the group of death is just horrible, isn't it, for a new team like that? However, I think they could do something. I really think it's wide open, and I think the names of the teams look a lot scarier than they actually are. I think AC Milan aren't a great team. I think Dortmund aren't as good as last year, of course, because they nearly won a title and they've lost Jude Bellingham. I think PSG are probably going to win that group, and I think they could win the whole competition. But other than that, it is not as hard as people make it out to be for Newcastle, to be honest. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you think Newcastle could do something, or do you think they're going to get bounced out in the group stage? Who knows? I think they have the squad to do it. And I think the strike force could be really beneficial, as well as just the solid defence, because I don't think teams will be used to playing a 6'7" fullback or defending Kieran Trippier's crosses on the right. And who knows? It'll be an interesting one. I'll definitely be watching the game tomorrow night. But if you could like the video, that'd be great. If you could subscribe, fantastic. If you could leave a comment, that'd be great. But yeah, thanks for watching.